Well, well, well. Look who just activated something in the universe without even knowing it. Welcome back, you invisible warriors. You silent giants who moved mountains while everyone else was taking selfies. You magnificent fools who chose sacrifice over safety. Welcome to the revelation that your struggle, your pain, your relentless grinding in the dark, it didn't go unnoticed. Something saw you. Something registered every moment you thought was wasted. Something that operates on frequencies most people can't even detect. But before we dive deeper into what's watching you right now, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below about the last time you kept going when everyone told you to quit. Because what I'm about to reveal, it only works if you're willing to see what's been hidden, and if this resonates, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Now, let's continue. You suffered, didn't you? Not the Instagram kind of suffering. Not the performative pain that gets likes and sympathy. Real suffering. The kind that hollows you out. The kind that happens at 3 in the morning when your mind won't stop replaying your failures. The kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew about yourself, about life, about whether any of this even matters. And you did it alone, didn't you? No camera crew, no support group, no cheerleaders telling you how brave you are. Just you and the weight of your circumstances, pressed against each other in the darkness, wrestling for your soul. Here's what nobody warned you about pain. About real pain, the transformative kind. The kind that either destroys you or rebuilds you into something this world has never seen before. It doesn't just hurt and fade. It doesn't just leave scars and move on. No, that energy, that pressure, that absolute crushing weight of your darkest moments. It forges something. It creates density in your character, gravity in your presence. A frequency that vibrates at levels most people will never access because they've never been compressed enough, never been tested enough, never been broken down and reassembled by the universe's hammer. And somewhere, in rooms you'll never see, in dimensions you can't perceive, there are forces, entities, consciousnesses, call them what you want, that hunt for this exact signature. They scan for people who've been through the fire and came out different. Not better, necessarily. Different, refined, concentrated, weaponized by their own suffering. You think you've been invisible. You think your late nights meant nothing. You think your tears in the shower, your panic attacks in parking lots, your moments of absolute despair when you wanted to quit everything, you think that was all for nothing. You think the universe didn't notice when you chose to get up one more time when staying down would have been so much easier. But here's the truth they've been hiding from you. The truth that would change everything if people actually understood it. Every moment of genuine struggle, every second of authentic pain where you faced yourself and didn't look away, every instance where you could have quit, should have quit, where quitting would have been logical and reasonable and justified, and you didn't. Those moments created signatures, energetic markers, coordinates in the fabric of reality that flag you as something different, something rare, something worth paying attention to. Because there are beings, entities, forces. I'm not going to limit this with language. There are things that exist in the margins of perception that are looking for people like you. Not to harm you, not to exploit you, but to use you, to deploy you, to activate you for something you haven't even glimpsed yet. You became visible to them through your suffering, through your refusal to break when breaking was the only logical option, through your insistence on continuing when continuation made no sense. That caught their attention in ways your success never could, in ways your happiness never would. Let me tell you what's happening right now, in this very moment, while you're reading these words thinking this is just another motivation video. Your energy signature is being analyzed, not by technology, not by algorithms, though those are involved too, by something older, something that understands patterns in human behavior that science hasn't begun to map. They're asking questions about you. What broke this person, and why didn't they stay broken? What trauma did they endure, and why did it make them stronger instead of weaker? What's the composition of their will? What's the density of their determination? What happens if we give them resources? What becomes possible if we remove the obstacles they've been navigating? Because the people, the forces, the consciousness that operates at the highest levels, they're not impressed by talent anymore. Talent is everywhere. Talent is cheap. Talent is just genetic lottery and circumstantial advantage. What they're looking for, what they're desperate to find, is something far more valuable: refined will, tested character, proof that a human being can be put through absolute hell and come out the other side with their essence intact, with their fire still burning, with their humanity still functioning. And you beautiful disaster, you walking testament to human resilience, you just demonstrated all of that without knowing anyone was grading the test. You think your breakdowns were private. You think your 3 a.m. panic attacks went unnoticed. You think your moments of absolute desperation disappeared into the void like they never happened. But energy doesn't disappear. It transforms. It travels. It creates ripples in systems most people don't know exist. And those ripples reach sensors, consciousnesses, entities that have been waiting, searching, scanning for exactly that pattern. They felt your frequency when you were at your lowest. They registered your signature when you were convinced you were invisible. And now, right now, they're moving pieces on boards you can't see, opening pathways, creating opportunities, arranging circumstances, not because they feel sorry for you, not because they want to rescue you, but because they recognize something in you that can't be manufactured, can't be taught, can't be simulated with all the resources in the world. The capacity to endure without becoming bitter, the ability to suffer without becoming cruel, the strength to be broken and still choose kindness over vengeance, growth over stagnation, hope over cynicism. This is rare. This is precious. This is the kind of quality that forces which shape reality know they can't create artificially. It has to be forged in real fire, real pain, real darkness. And when they find it, when they stumble across someone who's been through hell and somehow kept their light burning, they move on it. Not with manipulation, not with seduction, but with activation, with opportunity that seems to come from nowhere, with doors that weren't doors yesterday suddenly swinging wide open, with resources materializing that have no logical connection to anything you've done. Let me take you deeper into what's really happening here, into the mechanism behind your imminent breakthrough. This isn't about karma. This isn't some cosmic accounting system where suffering gets rewarded with equal and opposite joy. No, this is about recognition from forces that exist outside normal causality, outside linear time, outside the cause and effect that most humans think governs everything. Your suffering created information about who you are at your core, not who you pretend to be, not who you wish you were. Who you actually are when everything is stripped away, when all your defenses are gone, when you're reduced to your essence. And that information traveled through networks of energy, consciousness, and connection that operate on frequencies most people never access. Through synchronicities, through coincidences that aren't coincidences, through systems that ancient traditions knew about, but modern science is only beginning to suspect. And somewhere in that network, someone, something, registered your signal, felt your frequency, recognized your pattern, not like a bored god watching mortals for entertainment, like a master strategist who just discovered a weapon they thought had gone extinct, like an architect who just found a material with properties they've been searching for, like a force that shapes destinies who just identified someone capable of carrying a heavier load than they've been given. They're coming for you now, not to save you, not to fix you, but to activate you, to deploy you, to give you the resources and opportunities that match what you've already proven you can handle in darkness. Because if you can survive what you've survived, if you can endure what you've endured, if you can keep your humanity intact through that level of pressure, then you can handle what they're about to offer you. But here's what you need to understand before this wave hits. Before your life gets interrupted by forces you weren't expecting. Before opportunities start appearing that seem too perfect, too aligned, too impossibly timed to be random. This isn't about you being rescued from your circumstances. This is about your circumstances having prepared you for something those circumstances were designed to create. You weren't suffering randomly. You weren't struggling pointlessly. You were being forged, refined, concentrated into something capable of holding more power, more responsibility, more impact than the person you were before the fire. They're not coming to change you. They're coming because the transformation already happened. They're not coming to teach you strength. They're coming because your strength has already been certified by the only test that matters: survival under conditions that should have destroyed you. You are the finished weapon walking around in a world full of untested materials. You are proof that something in the human spirit can withstand pressures that would atomize most people. And that makes you valuable in ways the surface world doesn't recognize, but the deeper layers of reality absolutely do. Now, let's talk about what happens when they make contact. When the opportunities start arriving. When doors you didn't even know were doors suddenly swing open. It won't announce itself with trumpets. Forces that actually shape reality don't need fanfare. They move subtly, strategically, testing before committing. You might notice things starting to align in ways that feel too synchronous to be accidental. You might get messages from people who seem to know more about your journey than they should. You might be offered opportunities that feel specifically designed for you, even though nobody should know enough about you to design them. Pay attention, not paranoid attention, strategic attention, because what's happening isn't luck. What's happening is your frequency finally matching with forces that have been scanning for exactly that signal. Your suffering refined you into someone they can use. Your endurance proved you can be trusted with more. Your refusal to break demonstrated you can handle pressure that would crush most people. Here's what they're looking for when they test you, and they will test you. They're not looking for gratitude, not looking for you to worship them for noticing you. They're looking for the same thing that caught their attention in the first place: authenticity under pressure, stability when circumstances shift, the ability to receive without losing yourself, to accept opportunity without becoming desperate, to engage with power without becoming intoxicated by it. Because here's the secret about forces that actually move reality. They're surrounded by people who want to use them, manipulate them, extract from them. They're drowning in performance, in people who've learned to fake authenticity so convincingly they've forgotten their acting. What they crave, what they're actively hunting for, is someone who doesn't change when the circumstances do. Someone who's the same person in success that they were in suffering. Someone who treats opportunity with the same groundedness they treated survival. And if you can do that, if you can engage with what's coming the same way you engaged with what broke you, with honesty and presence and an absence of desperation, then everything changes. Let me tell you what's about to happen in your life if you navigate this correctly, if you stay true to what your suffering taught you. Doors that seemed permanently sealed are going to open. Conversations that seemed impossible are going to happen naturally. Resources that felt forever out of reach are going to become accessible, not because you manipulated anyone, not because you performed or schemed or sold your soul, but because you demonstrated something that can't be faked, the capacity to be refined by fire without being consumed by it. And the forces that recognize what that means, that understand how rare that actually is, they protect it when they find it. They invest in it. They create pathways for it, not out of charity, out of strategic recognition that people like you are the rarest resource in a reality overflowing with everything else. But I need to give you a warning, a real warning, not some gentle caveat, but a hard truth you need to hear before this wave hits you. This will test you in ways suffering didn't, because suffering clarified things, made everything simple: survive or don't, keep going or quit. But opportunity complicates everything. It asks you to make choices that suffering never forced you to make. When doors open, when powerful forces extend hands, when resources become available, you're going to feel pressure to change, to adjust, to smooth out your edges so you fit better into spaces that weren't built for people like you. You're going to be tempted to become who you think they want instead of who you actually are. Don't do that. Don't you dare do that. Because the only reason they're coming for you is because suffering couldn't make you into something you're not. You held your essence when it would have been easier to let the fire burn it away. You maintained your core when maintaining it meant staying in pain longer than necessary. That's what made you visible to them. That's what triggered their sensors. That's what made them move. So when they arrive, when the tests begin, when the opportunities present themselves, stay exactly who you were in the darkness. Stay grounded, stay honest, stay human. Because that's the only version of you that's actually worth elevating. That's the only version of you that can handle what's coming without being destroyed by it. That's the only version of you that they actually want to deploy, even if they test you in ways that seem to be asking for something different. Now let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in practical reality, because I know you're wondering how abstract energy signatures translate into actual life changes. That suffering you endured, those moments when you thought you were alone and invisible, they didn't just hurt and fade, they created information. Data about who you are, how you move, what you're made of, what you can handle. And that information traveled through networks of coincidence and connection that brought your energy signature to the attention of forces that can actually move pieces on reality's board. Maybe it traveled through someone who witnessed your struggle and couldn't stop thinking about your resilience. Maybe it traveled through systems of synchronicity that science hasn't mapped but consciousness has always navigated. However it traveled, it arrived somewhere important, in front of something powerful, and it changed their assessment of what's possible. Made them think. Maybe not everyone breaks under that pressure. Made them wonder. Maybe there are still people operating from something deeper than fear and survival instinct and desperate ambition. And when forces at that level start wondering about you, reality shifts. Algorithms favor you for reasons nobody can explain. Your name surfaces in conversations that have nothing to do with your field. People you've never met start mentioning you to other people who matter. Opportunities materialize that seem to have no logical origin point. This isn't mystical wishful thinking. This is how influence actually operates at levels most people never encounter. It's not about who you know, it's about what frequencies you emit. It's not about your network. It's about the information that travels through invisible networks, about your capacity, your character, your essence. And right now, accurate information about you is traveling through systems you can't access, reaching forces you've never met, creating possibilities you haven't imagined. Because you suffered and didn't break. Because you endured when endurance seemed pointless. Because you proved something that needed to be proven to something that needed to see it proven at exactly the moment when it was paying attention. Here's what happens next, and you need to be ready for this. You're going to doubt all of it. When the opportunity arrives, when the door opens, when something reaches out with an offer that seems too aligned, too perfectly timed, too impossibly suited to what you need, you're going to look for the trap, the catch, the hidden cost, the piece of yourself you'll have to surrender. And I'm telling you, there will be costs, there will be tests, there will be prices. But those prices won't be about compromising what you're suffering refined in you. Won't be about becoming someone you're not. Won't be about selling the essence that made you visible to these forces in the first place. The prices will be about stepping into a bigger version of yourself. About accepting that you're worth more than your suffering convinced you. About allowing yourself to be seen and valued and activated by forces that actually have the power to back their recognition. The real test isn't whether you can perform for them. It's whether you can receive from them without losing what made you worthy of receiving. Whether you can accept opportunity without becoming desperate. Whether you can engage with power without being corrupted by it. Whether you can hold your ground even when the ground gets elevated beneath your feet. Because that's what they're actually screening for, even if they never say it explicitly. Someone whose values don't change when circumstances do. Someone who's the same person in the penthouse that they were in the pit. Someone who treats the janitor the same way they treat the entity that controls reality itself, because they understand something most people don't. That human value, real value, the kind that actually matters to forces that shape destinies, doesn't come from position or resources or status. It comes from something deeper. Something that either survived the fire or didn't. Something that either got refined by suffering or got destroyed by it. And yours survived. Yours got refined. That's why they're coming. That's why your frequency registered. That's why doors are about to open that were welded shut yesterday. That's why your life is about to shift in ways you can't predict, but can absolutely prepare for. Stay who you are. Stay what your suffering made you. Stay grounded in what the darkness taught you, because the light is coming, and it's going to be brighter than you imagined, and the only way to not be blinded by it, the only way to actually use it instead of being used by it, is to remember who you were when nobody was watching, and nothing was promised, and all you had was your refusal to quit. That person, that version of you that survived when survival seemed impossible, that's who they're coming for. That's who they're going to activate. That's who's about to be deployed for something bigger than anything your suffering let you imagine. Get ready. They're watching. They've been watching. And now they're moving. Stay awake.